welcome to Bigger, Better, Stronger, Faster. Today, we're on episode 6, and it has been a long time since we've been on. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you're still out there watching. We brought someone pretty special, at least special to me. I've seen this guy in action a number of times. I'll go back and watch a number of more times before the end. So, singer-songwriter Dallas Craft.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's good to be back. Happy New Year.
Yeah. So, Dallas, you were on a previous podcast of mine.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on that.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was one of my favorite ones. I have never forgotten it. I love listening to music, and you played some really good music on there. Great lyrics. And because of that, I've gone to see you at least 2, maybe 3 times since then. And if you were any closer, I'd be seeing you all the time for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
As well, if I wasn't so stinking busy.
Which I'll say 2 to 3 times in the last year and a half is probably all the potential times you had due to COVID and everything else, I'd say. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I like to hear that. Good. I didn't miss too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, on this podcast, the previous podcast I had you on was about disc golf. We talked a lot about that, and you brought some music, which was awesome. On this podcast, I wanted to have you on this one because you definitely encompass the whole idea of bigger and better, and faster and stronger, faster, whatever. What that means for me anyway, and the idea that was behind the podcast was that some people just go through life and just kind of get by, and things are very ho-hum.
Yeah.
But the people on this podcast are doing extra, whatever that is, music or art or whatever. And your music has inspired me, and definitely touched my soul, which all music kind of does that for me if I like it anyway. But yours has definitely done that, and which is why I'll continue to listen, in the future.
Yeah.
So, something that from the last podcast, one of the things that I always wanted to kind of, with all the artists I've ever listened to, I've always wanted to know the background, where do they come from, and how did they, almost every artist, experience pain or something. So, what pain did they experience that led them to fall in love with a guitar or a microphone, or whatever it might be. That's always super fascinating to me, and I think most fans are kind of want to see beyond the music. The music touches them, and then they want to know the person behind it. And so I hope tonight we can kind of expose that a little bit about
Sounds
you.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. Love to hear that. So tell me a little bit about growing up.
So I grew up in Gallipolis, Ohio, or from Gallipolis, Ohio. I basically grew up closer to the Lawrence County border, so it was like not in town at all. My parents had a lot of land. Because of that, I think I grew up. I always kind of like envied the kids in the suburbs. Like, there's no suburbs in southeastern Ohio, if you're realistic, but you know what I mean? Like the equivalent of like if you're in town, you could like the kids who could ride their bikes to their friend's house.
Yeah.
As a kid, I envied those kids because no parents wanted to drive their kids to my house. Like, we're not driving 25 minutes to his house to drop you off, to drive 25 minutes on Sunday and pick you up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But because of that, and then having split parents and kind of traveling back and forth, I think it just made me really independent. Made me just kind of like, I just like to hang out in the woods.
Yeah.
And then eventually at some point in time, my grandpa bought me a guitar from my cousin. I still have this guitar.
Yeah.
It's actually worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
They did not know that when they bought it, but it's
that's awesome.
It's like one of 250. It has a misprint on it. It doesn't say patent pending. It says patent petting. Like they misprinted the whole thing.
I love it.
Beautiful guitar. It weighs like 12 and a half, 13 pounds. It's impossible to play at any shows. Fucking terrible. But so I got bought that, and like as a kid, I really liked music. I guess I don't really know how I got into it, but like my grandmother played piano and sang. My whole family, I grew up at a really good time. Like, I born 91. So my parents were young, 19 and 20 when they had me. So my dad was a Zeppelin and grunge fan. So like I grew up as a little kid, like screaming along to Eddie Vedder. Like that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. Was like I wanted like Chris Cornell or Eddie Vedder. You know, just like that's what I fucking wanted for sure.
Yeah.
And so I just started singing as a little kid. I was always singing all the time. And then around what really made the change, I guess, like the day that I knew that I had made up my mind for what I was going to do the rest of my life was in 4th grade. And I switched grade schools, same county, same school district and all that, just went to a different grade school. And they had this variety show. And I'm gonna call you out right now. One of my friend's moms, Missy Whaley, I'm gonna call her out. She was our high school nurse. She's beautiful. I had a crush on her. I was a little kid. She was a beautiful woman. And but so like this variety show, these kids had been in a group for like years, and I was a new kid, so they didn't want to let me in the group. Yeah. And mom got like, she was pissed about it. It's just like, like they're not gonna let you in. Like, we're gonna find something that's so good they're gonna be mad. Like, they didn't let you in.
Yeah.
And then we were like driving on the way home one day. I was just singing. She's like, "What if you just like sang a song?" I'm just like, I don't know. That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Like if I just like walk on stage and sing a song. And like, I don't know. It might be really good. And then I did it. And then from that day on, that was the only thing I did. Basically, like all the way through like musicals and traveling shows and bluegrass shows. And I got lucky. My great grandfather's brother, who like a great uncle of mine, who was way spread out in years, who was closer to like my actual aunt and uncle's ages. Worked with Alice Krauss Union Station and a bunch of these big bluegrass artists. So I got, as a little kid, kind of like go sing with some of them, and then kind of just did that. And that was kind of just the only thing I really ever did. And from then on, like I had little fads, things that I liked and other things, but there was never really, I feel like from that point on, anyone from my hometown that knew me or anyone in my family knew, it was just like, this is what he's going to do.
Yeah. Can I back you up a couple?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So the first thing I heard was that you fell in love with hanging out in the woods.
Yeah, that's still
that hit me because
thing,
like I feel like we, are kind of, we hang out together so much because we have that passion for nature, you know, just,
absolutely,
and that energy that it gives us or whatever, the healing that we get from it or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's all because of like we both grew up in the woods. And that's a funny thing. I wonder why three of us found that to
I think that's what drew me to disc golf too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If it wasn't for like Fort around the place I played it first, if I had played disc golf in a park or a city park first, it wouldn't have been the same. No. I played in the woods.
Me too. Gorgeous, like old growth forests is where I played.
Yeah. And pines, like, and that's what got me.
Yeah.
But I think as a kid, it was like I loved. I don't hunt that much. I hunt at all, really, as an adult, I guess, realistically.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, like I loved it. Like I just loved it. Like, I don't know. It was like, not that I wasn't allowed to play video games or like anything like that.
Right.
Weren't like dicks or anything.
Oh, I could have easily,
but it was
I didn't
like,
want to.
Yeah, it was just like, it's sunny outside. Don't come inside till it's dark.
Yeah.
And then my sister was younger than me, and she would do her stuff, and I would just go. Me and one of the dogs would just walk off, and then we'd come back when it's dark. And that's kind of just like how I spent the majority of my childhood, because I wasn't in a neighborhood that had kids. So I just like we had cows and like horses and animals, and I would just like talk to them and then wander through the woods and write songs in my head. I think that's probably honestly when Mom knew, is like, I remember, and she has these tapes somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are, but there's these like cassette tapes from like, this has to be 99 to like 2001 or something like that, like elementary, middle school.
Yeah.
And they're just me. I'm like, hey mom, I wrote this song, like 3rd, 4th grade or something, maybe before I even started singing in public. And it was like, hey, I wrote this song. Can we figure out where to record it? And they honestly weren't. They were probably better than the songs I wrote in middle school and high school, because those were just angsty punk,
right?
Emo bullshit. It was like, but honestly, like I started writing like poetry and stuff as a little kid. I guess it was like, I just
That's awesome.
It is funny to look back and now I know, like, I didn't pass 8 parts of speech until like senior year. I was a math whiz and like science whiz. My grandmother is like the smartest human I've ever met in my entire life. One of my favorite people. And I like, that was what I was like bred to do. I feel like I was wanting to go to school for genetics, and like I was gonna be a physicist, and like these are my things. And then I like found music, and then it like derailed everything. But I now work as a writer, and I write product descriptions for my like regular living.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like funny how it all comes around. It's like I couldn't pass that 8 parts of speech for like years and years, but look at me now, Mrs. Sprigg. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's you know, it's kind of I think with every avenue, like, so for me, you know, my passion is massage therapy. It's, you know, what I've tried to really make money at for a number of years. And you know, it's because I like watching someone heal is just special. You know what I mean? And I've never felt like I was healing anyone, but I definitely felt like I helped them get there.
Yeah.
That made me feel like part of that, you know, that journey.
Put them in a
you
place
know?
so that the way they could heal them.
Yeah, right. And maybe, you know, give them advice, or, you know, stretch them the right way, or you know, maybe work the right muscle, whatever. But it's like life always throws all these other things at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in an attempt to teach classes, I end up podcasting.
Yeah.
You know, or at least that's how some of the equipment was. You know, that's why it was bought to begin with, and then I realized, oh wait, I already have this equipment. I could just get this, and
then start,
and then it grew, right?
And then snowball effect.
Yeah,
here we are.
And like with, I guess what I'm hearing with you is that, like, you know, like music kind of like you started, you know, just one being alone, which kind of took you into a space where you're like, you know, I could sit here bored as heck because I don't think either of us.
Well, I will say,
person.
like,
yeah.
I had a split family. So like when I was at my mom's, I was like, not in a bad way, but it was like, but I was like one of 6 grandsons on the other side. So like on the weekends when I get my dad's, like, we get raised hell with like all the other cousins. It was 6 boys, you know.
Oh wow.
So like, but I'd come from that and then like come back and go to school, and then at night when I come from school, it's just like, well, it's sunny. You're not going to raise hell in the house by yourself. Like, go outside if you want to be a hooligan. So it was like part of that. I think that it was like this like juxtaposition of like almost like, I feel like I've always lived like multiple lives.
Yeah.
Partially because that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I went through 15 foster homes.
Oh
so,
yeah. Well, I can't speak to imagine that, but but
well, it's the same. You know, it's one family has, you know, 1 kid, one has 6 kids, one has 15.
Well, and then different rules and different indoctrinations for everyone. Yeah.
So it's very much the same. You know, it's, you learn very quickly that you can be that. It's not really an act. You can act as like, you can be a certain amount of yourself around the, you know, a certain person, you know, in a certain group of people. Is I at least what I learned, you know. And
well, I think you probably learned that earlier than I did, I would say. Just through like necessity, or out of necessity, I would say. But I think it took me a while longer to learn that. You know, just through.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, I didn't realize I learned it until I was an adult. You know, almost 40.
Yeah, that's
you know. And I look back like, oh my gosh, I know this my whole life.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, and I should like lean on those strengths. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Oh,
yeah. So I stopped
yourself in the back sometimes, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I definitely, you know, look at everything that I came from that created who I am today. And you know, I didn't become who I am today last night. Or, you know, a few nights ago. It was a building process, you know, and like when I hear people like, I don't have any regrets. Well, I envy you, you know, because there are lots of things that I regret that I did. I'm not doing them today, so I'm not.
But I think having said what you said, then like, if you're, you know, you're where you are because of the decisions you made. So you can't, like, if you're regretting the decisions, you wouldn't be where you are because of that. And it's like, there are things that if I could go back and redo, there are things that I've said that I would like to reset. There are instances in which I wish I could have been better towards people, but I wouldn't, I don't know that I would change any of those things because I'm happy where I am and who I am, and each one of those things made. So I can agree with someone when they say I have no regrets, because it took me a long time to realize, like, besides that being an arrogant, ignorant thing to say, is like, no regrets, whatever. It's like, also, it's like, yeah, but well, if you do regret anything, then you're not happy with where you are. And it's like, I'm comfortable with where I am. I understand that there's stepping stones, and this is just another step along the way, and I got a lot of trail ahead of me. I'm not too worried about it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are definitely things, I'm sure you as well, that I've done and said that I probably should have not said, that I would say I regret saying. But
right.
again, I learned from this.
Yeah. I
And
totally
we're here
agree.
now because, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I can be a better person because I was a shitbird
Yeah.
the day before.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. So I think we're probably somewhere around your early 20s at this point.
Yeah. So I graduated high school. I would say I'll interject with this, I guess. I've been reading this multiple of these books, but Victor Wooten might be the best bass player that's ever existed. Wrote a couple books about music and just like spirituality and how all these things interweave together. And he talks so much about like he's not a musician, he's just a dude. Like music exists on its own. It's an energy that's just there. And it's like, and that's about how I feel. It's like a guitar is not anything until you play it. It's like I'm not anything until I play it. It's like I think music existed and I was a vessel for it to flow through, and I'm grateful that I have the ability to expel my energy in the way that I do, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether I knew that the entire time or whether in anything of growing up and like you like realize that shit and you're like, oh wow, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. But I think I kind of always knew that.
Yeah.
Not like it feels like cocky or say this, like I was like I was meant to be like, not like I'm more than you. It was like I'm meant for something. And it was just like this sense of I was like I have a thing that I'm supposed to do, and this is it. And I think I knew that forever. I was like I'm supposed to write songs and tell people stuff. And it's funny now. My brother's a pastor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're essentially doing the same thing. You know, it's like I got my flock.
Yeah.
You got your flock.
Yeah.
May there be very different philosophies between all of them. It's like, but you know, we're just out there spreading the message that we think people need to hear. And yeah, so I was planning on going to school for molecular biology and genetics, and I'll give you the whole rundown, I guess. I was cross country runner, loved it. I was fast. I was going to run in college, and got in trouble for drinking.
Yeah.
At a party, and lost all my scholarships. Essentially, got dropped from everything. Wow. And Bowling Green was the one school that still offered me a scholarship. Like that's the real answer to essentially what happened at Bowling Green.
Yeah.
I won't name any names or any other things about how that happened, but long story short, I made a dumb decision. Whatever. I ended up there at Bowling Green. Best thing ever happened to me, I think. Like I ended up transferring to the music program, which I already wanted to do anyway. Like I think I knew I didn't want to go to college. My parents knew. They're just like, we know. I think they knew it was like we know you're gonna figure something out, but like you just can't just like float around and be a piece of shit. You know, it's just like just do something. Like so I went to college for a few years. Left midway through, got a job in a theater production. Like I was a music theater major, so I got a job doing that in Chicago, doing some shows. Traveled around a bit doing that. Transferred eventually after just like random instances of things, ended up like leaving Bowling Green, transferring into Columbus State for one semester. It's the last time that the Ohio schools were on quarters.
Yeah.
So like OU and all that Marriott and all these places switched from quarters to semesters finally that year. I took one quarter there and then transferred into Ohio State. I was there for a couple years. Finished up, kind of floated around. Got hired on Norwegian Cruise Lines. Did that. Went to Colorado. Something in between. Something in between. Okay, so cruise lines are weird. So I've been hired by the Norwegian twice, and both times I've left early. So I went once and left early because my grandfather passed away, and I came back. Obviously because of that. The second time, I didn't even make it out of port. I essentially left like basically midway through rehearsals. So, but there's some stuff happened. I got to keep my signing bonus. Some things happened. It was like, you know, there's a reason for me to leave. I left. But then having that happen, I'm going to Chicago. Again, that was 2016, something like that maybe. Yeah. Went to Chicago. did some shows up there. I was there for that whole fall, and then a buddy of mine while I was there hit me up and was like, "Hey, man," and this is one of my best friends, guy I lived with all the way through college and everything, and from Athens as well, and was like, "Hey, I got an extra room in Colorado if you're trying to come shred." And I was like, "Yeah." And so I would say, growing up as a kid, all the way, like I grew up. I was very blessed to get to do a lot of things. I think it also like fucked me later on in life, just because like my biggest issue now as an adult at 30 is indecision, and it's because I think I had too many choices. Like I had split parents where like my dad wanted me to be a pro motocross racer, and we raced every weekend. My grandfather was a professional drag racer, so I would go drag race with him, and like to Bristol, like Darlington, like all over, like to these huge races. And I was like racing junior dragsters like 90 mile an hour at like 8-9 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like so I was doing all these things, but to me as a kid it was hard to like choose which one you want to do, because then you're not choosing an activity, you're choosing family members at that point in time. You're not choosing do I want to do this or do I want to do this. You're choosing do I want to hang out with them or do I want to hang out with them. And even like I was like 7 or 8 years old, I remember being like things like, well, if I choose to go this 2 weekends in a row, then they're gonna feel bad. So then I would pick and choose what I was doing. But the only thing I didn't have to pick and choose about was music.
Gotcha.
Music wasn't owned by any of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like
it's your own thing.
So like I grew up like my family. I loved to ski, and like I would ask for Christmas every year. Like I just want to go skiing, and I think I did that because I would just get away from my whole family, go ski with my friends' families where they're happy. It was like we got people that are happy, people love each other. We're going to like hang out in the mountain and hang out and ski like this is normal. So I would just go do that. And music was the only thing I think that like I joke about now is like music's the only thing that have never let me down. But I think that's how I got into it. It was just like it was the consistent thing that was like, if I choose this, both sides of my family are happy. I'm not picking and choosing. And like I loved drag racing. I was really fucking good. Like,
yeah.
Like I think I could have made a professional career. I could not have been a professional motocross. I was a pussy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could have been a pro drag racer.
Right.
But I wanted, and I think it was those things. It's like I wanted to play music because it wasn't connected to either one of them, and it was just like this thing that I could do that both families could enjoy separately and not assume that I was like, yeah, exactly. It was my own thing.
Yeah.
But it was like, that's what I mean. Like, with like I had this independence as a kid that I didn't know that I had until I was older. But it was because I realized later on of just like, I just didn't want to have to, and it wasn't even like, I don't want to upset you. It's like, I just don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't want to deal with the backlash of pissing you off. I'd rather just do my thing, which when I got older and I got a car, it was just like, yeah, I'm just going to not fucking stay here, And, like, and that's basically when I started living on the road. Plus, so I got a car. I was in a band. We were touring, and like life was crazy about that point in time. Yeah.
Well, one of these days, I will pick your mind about drag racing because my son is like super.
Well, dude, I love it. It's my. I think that was probably. I honestly have a lot of thoughts about whether or not the fact that I fucked up and that was my calling and that was what I was supposed to do, and like early on, not in that sense, it's just like, man, like what if I just like wouldn't have like wasted all this time on like trying to write songs, and I would have like just done this, like could I have been John Forrest, like like not that I want to do that. So it's like I don't like that style of drag racing even. So it's like I want like classic bracket style, like I don't need jet fuel, all the extra crazy shit. It's like I just want like classic drag racing. But yeah, man, it's I feel like you're gonna have so much shit to cut through because when you ask me a question, I just ramble like a motherfucker.
I'll keep you on track.
Well, hey, man, it's good to see you. Also, it's weird, dude. Like, I haven't got to talk to anybody in so long that, like, I feel like this is the first real conversation I've had with anyone that isn't my girlfriend. In a very long time. Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
I do.
So, cheers.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Even though I won't judge you for drinking White Claws,
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of water in them. And
hey, dude, I wish I liked them water. Because every person that I know has them in their fridge, and they're like, "You want White Claw? You can have it." I'm like, "You got anything else?" They're like, "No." I'm just like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Well, I try to be some kind of a host, so I will always ask you what you're drinking.
You specifically asked me what I wanted, and he delivered.
Yeah, so, always,
absolutely.
We like to be relaxed here, and
you all did a really good job with the spot too. I was saying, like, it was cool in the other spot too, like with the rearrangement here. It's good. It's cozy. It's warm. It's really cold outside for anyone who maybe listening to this. If you're not around here, you're realizing it's like
super cold out today. Windy.
Yeah,
like
well, yeah, windy.
bitter
It's not even
windy.
cold. It's just
Yeah,
windy.
just
Windy as can be.
I know she,
Yeah,
she came to me
it's like
earlier
38.
and said,
Yeah.
It's like 55 out. I said, it's a bitter 55.
Yeah, it was like
Windy
50,
and bitter.
yeah,
yeah.
55 at 4 p.m. and then by 5 o'clock it was like 38
I
and
didn't
40
even
mile
look
an hour
at my
winds. So
phone, but I bet it would have said like feels like 35 or something.
feels like
know?
you should stay
Yeah.
inside.
All right. Well, at this point, I'd really like to start talking about some of your favorite music, and maybe like where it came from. One of the things that I find is my favorite artists. A lot of their songs have like double meanings in a lot of their lyrics, and then they don't ever explain, or you never get to hear the explanation. So you're just kind of wondering.
I think sometimes that's explicitly the intention, probably for some artists. Maybe
I like that. But I like it in a little, but with a little bit of like leading into this is how I got. And did you mean the double the double meaning? Because sometimes they're like, I didn't realize it was when I wrote it, but I do now. So yeah.
Well, I think for like, I can only speak to so much. I guess I'm only 30, but I would say for like, I can completely understand for someone like Rolling Stones or like old artists who like wrote the song like 25. Like, does it have a different meaning now? They're like, yeah, completely.
Right.
Because there's songs that I've written like that I didn't think were that good in like 2010, 11 or so. Say, that people who I idolized, looked up to, like in the Columbus scene back then when I was still in college. This one guy specifically, Josh Montgomery, came up to me and was like, "Hey, what's that song mean?" I was like, I don't really know. Like I was like, I wrote it in like 6 minutes. I don't really know what it means. And he's like, well, then message me when you do. And I was just like, whatever. Like that's a douchey thing to say to somebody. Like, whatever. And then like 7 years later, like 2018, 19 or something, I don't know how I heard it. I was like at a friend's house and like it came on like a playlist or something. Like it was like a random. I wasn't trying to listen to it. It just randomly came on and I heard it. And it was the first time I'd heard it, not playing it. You know what I mean? The first time I'd heard it like and separated myself from the track, and I heard it and I was just like, and I messaged him immediately and I was like, this is what it's about. And I didn't know that at 20 when I wrote the song, but I knew it at 27 when I heard the song. I knew what it was about. And so there are those things that like I double meanings that I guess will like never change with some things. Like there's a lot of songs that I wrote where like I was specifically trying to like get this point across. The majority of what I write is like all right, here. So let's see. What's today? January 5th. I got this phone on May 18th because my birthday is May 18th. And it's the first time I switched to an iPhone. So I don't know how many days that's been. But since then, I have written 294 songs.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Okay. Wow. So it's like, and that's, you know what I mean? So it's like, do any of those mean anything you're coming at? It's like, not really. It's like, but like if I'm driving, I don't listen to music. I just hit record. And the best thing that can happen is 2 minutes and you forget that you hit record.
Yeah.
And then I start becoming my own and that's what something like Victor Wooten talks about. It's like, music flows through me. I think I was lucky to be a vessel to like, there's this energy in the world and I luckily can harness it for a little bit and share it. And like, that's all I think it is. And I've had a lot of people tell me too, it's like, the first time you write a song, and this is how I try to go back to it, it's like I'll hit record and be like, I have a song in my head that I want to hear, and I'm like, I'm gonna write it and play it right now, and then I'll do that, and then 3 minutes and 42 seconds in, I'll hit stop. That's what the song is. Anytime that you go back and try and like recreate it to be something other than that, it's not like whatever you did then. The words may not make sense. There's always vowel sounds are what I focus on because like melodies are easy to write with. Like have some say. You're like that's easy to get out. Then you go back there and it's like, ooh, what you saying?
Yeah.
And I've never been like it's easy to like pull things out from there. So like I focus on that, I think, and like but that flows out naturally. And then you go back through and listen and you correct that to something.
Wow.
But there are also times that I'll sit and like just write words with no music or anything. So it's kind of I don't know. There's not a right or wrong. It's just you know, however it works. But I will say that there was a point in time from childhood until I would say childhood because I started writing songs as a kid, but until probably the last couple of years where
Yeah.
where I thought every song I wrote sucked. Like I hated every song I ever wrote.
Right.
And that's the reason I ever released a full length. Like,
Yeah. So
100%. Like the reason I didn't release a full length, I thought every song sucked until one day. And then I wrote a song, and then I was like, there's one line in that song that stuck with me, and I was like, phew, that's good. And I was like,
well,
what if you just like, you actually sat there and like tried to do that for this one line? What if you did that for every single line of the song? And then I was like, holy shit, you're a fucking good songwriter, man. It's like, oh, cool. Like, what if you actually, it's like, oh, cool, you just didn't put, you know, but yeah, it's weird. Weird how
yeah,
it works.
that is interesting. Yeah, that I don't know. It's really funny. Everything you just said is a lot of how I found massage therapy.
Oh yeah.
Like the energy, what I was, feeling in the world, all of it. That was that's pretty interesting. Yeah, and you just channeled it a whole different way. I think the only instrument I've ever been good at was drums. I do have a drum in there.
It makes sense though, man. You go with your hands. It's a
yeah.
It's tribal. It's
I was
carnal,
never, which I always thought like I should have been good at like piano and guitar and all that, because I mean I can feel amazing things with my fingers, but trying to like make them do notes and not so easy. Boy, I can do my voice pretty well. I can sing pretty well.
I would say that you should read this book. You should read both of his books. The first one is called The Music Lesson by Victor Wooten, and I think it is the most important book.
What's his name?
Victor Wooten.
Okay.
He's in my opinion, he's the best bass player of all time. He's a studio bass player from Nashville. But he now, like, having been older and like graduated like from that, essentially he's just like a spiritual counselor, and he's just like I think he's brilliant. He's the correlations he makes between music and like life and everything is profound, I guess to say the least. But he talks a lot about, he's like, I always try to tell people, and they're like, what do you do for a living? It's like, oh, I'm a musician. And like everyone to me was like, oh man, like, well, you just keep trying. It's like, no, dude, like I do probably better than you. You know, it's just like I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's like it's not like that. You know, but also like, I don't know. It's just the idea of it's like, hey, like, you know, you gotta. I don't know. Yeah, he addresses this. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah. But, Victor Wooten, The Music Lesson, and his second book is called The Spirit of Music. But in that he talks about, and I was trying to explain to people, it's like, I'm a musician. Like, I'm obviously a vocalist. Like, if there's one thing that I know, if I, you know what I mean? If I want to go head to head with someone, I know which card I'm pulling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
But it's like, if you give me any instrument in the whole world, I can play it. I've never touched it before my entire life.
Yeah.
I can play it.
Wow.
100%. And it's because I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And I would say that wouldn't necessarily, I would say
definitely
you
not
could,
me.
but I'm not, I'm disagreeing with you. And I'm saying that you might be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a degree of like, you don't have to understand there's 13 elements of music. Essentially, you know.
Right.
And that's what he talks about. It's like, there's rhythm, there's timing, there's feel, there's notation, like there's melodies, like there's always things, like you only have to get a couple of them. And it's like, as long as you can get the rhythm in.
I have a lot of those, but
you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you can get the beat in and someone hands you something,
right?
Can you find one thing that you can do to add to it?
Right.
If so, yes, you're a musician. Right.
Yeah.
So like, if I hand you the ukulele and you pick around to it till you find one note that sounds good, you're going to be able to pick out that one note that sounds good, and you're probably going to be able to add it in a way that's melodic and musical,
right?
Because you're a musician.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference between like teaching someone who is not a musician, and it's like, it sounds douchey to say the way that he sounds.
Well, some people literally don't have any rhythm. I can't imagine not having
like,
any rhythm whatsoever.
The way that he says it makes it sound so like, it's not like you're a muggle or you're a wizard, you know what I mean? It's like he spells it in this like beautiful way, but it's like, but there is a difference, and I think I just felt that as a kid. I was like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, and not like cocky or not even like I'm better than you. So I was like, I'm different. And it's like, you might play guitar, you might do this, but it's not the same as what I do. And I think that was I was obsessed with Joe Cocker as a kid, and I think that was part of it. And it's just like, I want to sing. Like, if when I get done singing, if you don't feel something, then I fucked up.
Yeah.
and that's all there is to it.
That's what, like,
And that's why I hate pop music.
Yeah.
I love pop music, but
I'm
hate
assuming
it
like
for that
Joe
reason.
Cocker for you was like, for me, it was, I could see that he didn't care what anybody thought.
No,
He
dude,
was out on that
he's
stage,
he's telling you a story,
Just,
man. That's
yeah,
it.
passing on his
Yeah, that's it.
passion and
Yeah.
energy and
Yeah.
all of it, regardless of what you thought.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
didn't give I loved that about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's why I realized like most of those artists for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
it's because like, so growing up, I sang from elementary school on. I was like the kid at the talent show for singing or whatever. I was like that kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I got hated on so hard. So like, all the way through college and all the way forever, like my whole goal through that period of my life from probably like 14, 15 until like maybe 30, 22 to 30
Yeah.
was like, don't be the douchebag with a guitar at a party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah,
I wanted to
yeah.
not be that so hard that I ran from the one thing I'd been building and leading myself towards my entire life. Like
Right.
hardcore, like to the point where I was like, when Brennan,
That's
like you might have met,
interesting,
like, videographer, did Jaren's wedding,
Yeah. Yeah.
plays with Mod Son, touring with Avril Lavigne, Travis Barker, and all them. As soon as he met me, he's like, I didn't know you played guitar. I didn't know you sang or anything. He's like, yeah. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? It's like, it never came up in conversation. It didn't seem like I would just be like, hey, what's up, dude? My name's Dallas. And I'm like, I fucking play guitar, man. Like, what's up? It's like, that's douchey. It's fucking, I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, it's 2022. And if you want to, you got to get with it. So it's like me
Yeah.
battling a fine
Yeah,
line
be
with that, but
valid,
also just like, you know, I'd rather, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
I got some stories to tell.
Yeah. I think,
know.
I can't, boy, if I told you all the ridicule I got for being a massage therapist and actually enjoying it, you know, like, like the stories just
I can
are
only imagine.
on and on and on. And when I moved here, it got worse, you know, and it doesn't run me away from it. You know, I don't really care what anyone thinks. Like, I'm not doing what your opinion of me is.
Yeah.
I'm being me. So,
But I think that
you either like it or
I think
don't.
musicians are the only instance that's just different
Yeah.
for everything. Like,
Well, if you're gonna make any money,
yeah, well, it's like Donald Glover
That's
always
a
talk
different-
about is
yeah.
like one of my favorite comedians, who's also one of my favorite musicians and artists, Donald Glover, who is Childish Gambino. He says, he's like, you know, like if your cousin goes to the NBA, when he
Yeah.
comes home for Thanksgiving break, they don't ask him a dunk. You know what I mean?
well, I don't know.
I mean, but he's just saying, he's like,
Yeah,
really, they don't
yeah.
ask him a dunk. He's like, if your boy becomes manager at the Subway, you don't ask him to come home and make you sandwiches.
Yeah, right.
And if he does make a sandwich, you definitely don't judge him and be like, oh, you think you're the best sandwich maker on the whole fucking planet, don't you? Like, you're a sandwich artist now. Like, you think you're so good. It's like, no. But it's like, but if you're a musician and you come home and like, I listen to tape. Like, I film every show that I do. When I
Yeah,
come home,
yeah.
I listen to it.
Right.
If anyone walks in you on that, I think they're like, you can see it. Like, it's like
Yeah.
everyone who's ever encountered it. It's like, why are you listening? You listen to
Yeah,
yourself for your
yeah.
bed. And it's like, no, it's like you played football.
How else do you get better?
How else do you get better? It's like
Yeah.
I realized that I messed this up here. Yeah, and it's like, but it's never. No other field is it attributed the same way, and it is like
Yeah.
hardcore.
Well, I would tell you if an athlete walked in, they wouldn't think that.
I
A
disagree.
real athlete.
Well,
A
okay,
real
okay,
athlete.
okay,
Because
okay,
any
yes,
real
yes,
athlete
yes,
has
yes.
watched their own footage.
Yeah,
over
for sure.
And
Well, I would say
over.
any
I
real
mean,
professional,
hours.
any real
Right.
professional. But it was
Absolutely.
also, I as a child succumbed to the influence of the masses,
Yeah.
not to the influence of professionals and people whose opinions mattered.
Right. Right.
Which,
Yeah.
like, you know, you realize it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't give a shit what these people think.
Yeah.
I don't like these people at all.
Yeah.
You know, like let alone like, you know, it's like I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say.
I don't hang out with anyone.
I'm
from
cooler
high
than you.
school,
Shit,
so,
fuck you. Yeah, it's like, hey, like, yeah,
Yeah.
cut that out. Maybe I'm not trying to be a dick, but you know what I mean.
No, I do.
But you
know.
get what I'm saying. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
like, who the fuck are you? You know.
Yeah.
But like, I let that in because I think forever I wanted to not be cocky.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
anytime that like I
mhm.
would go, like people would be like, we're going to karaoke and I'd sing. You know how many times I got like people try to fight me at karaoke when I was a kid? Like not
Yeah.
a kid, but like in college, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
for real.
yeah.
Like Troy, it's
Yeah.
like I was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And it was like it was like, oh, you're just showing off or you're just showing off. And then like later in life, it was like, why aren't you showing off more? And it was like, I don't really know like what I'm supposed to do here. I'm just trying to write
Right.
songs and live in the woods and not piss people off. That's like my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like, but if I'm trying to piss you off, you will know and you will be pissed off. It's like if
Yeah.
I want to piss you off, you're gonna be mad as hell.
Right.
Yeah. but it's like otherwise this ain't about you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I
but
feel
yeah,
every bit of that. Yeah.
songs. I have no clue where this started. Yeah.
Hmm.
Post New
Well,
Year's 2022.
yeah, kind of. You know what led you to writing some of the stuff that you wrote, and that I mean you explained it
Alcohol.
extremely. Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. The thing that led me to write everything I would say I've written now is alcohol. And I have a loving, beautiful relationship with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that honestly, I feel like the majority of most of these new songs, all the songs that I think are like really good are like me writing about me drinking too much, probably realistically.
Yeah.
And then I drink too much to write songs about me drinking too much. So it's like I won't say drink too much. Like I drink enough to write songs about me drinking enough. That's
Yeah.
probably the better way to put it. You know,
Yeah.
I take care of my business, not let anybody down. Like, you know,
Well,
but
never let me
you
down.
but you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like I don't want to preface that with this like PBR. Well, if you drink enough PBR, you can write hit songs. It's like no, it's like a lot of things. I would say I grew up listening. So I grew up in like when I was in a band in high school. I listened to like we played pop punk and like punk music and stuff. So like graduating from that into college, then I was a musical theater student. So like I got enveloped in this just world of emotion, like realizing how much a song could express as a story.
Yeah.
And not from like a songwriter or even tense. It's just like if you're looking at it on paper being like this is plain text and stupid, but just like hearing people deliver a message that well that they can do in like music, and it's like without it being corny or cliche, like but just like hearing people deliver that message that well, I think is what changed me to wanting to write and be honest. And then years later, you know, John Prine and then like specifically Jason Isbell and like Noah Gunderson and Donovan Woods and a couple other songwriters that I found later on in life that were just like people who were just writing honest songs.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite songwriters, he's the same age as me. I've watched him on every tour that he's had. I love him to death. This friend of mine, Noah Gunderson, says, it's like, there's nothing more sincere than selfish art. It's like, or by looking in the mirror, there's nothing more sincere than selfish art. And it's like, people call it selfish. It's like, you're just like, making all this about yourself. It's like, well, that's the only thing I know is myself.
Every day, yeah.
So for me to even imply that I could say something else would be a lie. So I'm just going to give you what I know. And that's all that I can do is reflect what I know in my instances and like the memories and things that I have and experiences and hope that it, like if it impacts someone, then like it's cool. It's like, and that's my goal is like as a kid, like I loved reading, and I think we're past this generation. Like you know, like you don't buy an album and look at who is on the back anymore. Like you don't buy an album, read the liner notes, but like that's where I am. And it's like that's the album that I'm making. I'm making the album for the person who wants to listen to it and read the liner notes.
Yeah.
There's hidden gems, there's Easter eggs everywhere, just like an album should be. And like I'm gonna keep making music that way.
Most people are not they don't get that at your age at all. I know.
No.
I know 55, 60-year-old men that do not get that.
Yeah, well, I think it's just probably how I grew up. Like I grew up on good music, and I loved music as a kid. And it was like, but as a kid, also it was like I'm the only 6-year-old who asked for tickets to Rod Stewart. I'm the only 7-year-old who asked for tickets to Paul McCartney and the Wings. You know what I mean? Like not the only, but like there weren't fucking very many of us realistically. You know, so it's like I think I just knew at an early age what I was meant to do, but I do think that I still would what we went to earlier. Like I would not change any of it. Did I squander it? Fuck yeah. Did I waste a lot of time? In some people's eyes, probably. Did it make me who I am? Yes. Do I write better songs now because of it? I would assume so. Like, could I have got there faster? Maybe, but I don't know that I would want to. You know what I mean? So it's like, I definitely took like there's a song on this new album called "Long Way Home," and it's the next last song on this album, and I'm not going to play it, but I will play the last song on the album.
Cool.
But it's that's for the best. It's like, you know, I went and took the long way home. It's like, you might a shortcut's all right. It's like, but I had to figure it out. It's like no matter how many times you point it out, you know, as your parent says, like, but you don't have how many times someone can tell you that fire is hot until you burn yourself, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's not the same.
You know, it's funny because sometimes the shortcut is dangerous. You know, that's my brother found that out.
Oftentimes,
hard way. Yeah. So I love that. And there were a lot of times I took the hardest possible way, but if I didn't, I wouldn't learn a thing. You know,
yeah,
and I definitely beat my head off of many things along the way. But every single one of them definitely taught me, some of the best lessons ever. And I didn't learn fast. I learned super slow.
Same here.
And as I've gotten older, luckily, I would say I learned later, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to learn anything when I was younger, so I didn't, but now I'm like, I feel like a child again, where I just want to soak all of it up again.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful though. It's like that resurgence. Yeah. Which is why I hate technology, but I love YouTube so much because I feel like
me too.
I've learned so.
a ton.
Oh yeah, we had a conversation. Yeah, this is like, dude, like, you can literally learn. It's like, hey, what do you want to learn today?
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, then okay, that's on you because you can learn literally anything.
Oh yeah.
Like anything you want to learn today, you can.
Yeah, and
you want to learn to tie bow ties? You better be a boss. It's like you can do it in like 35 minutes. I can have you be professional. It's like, but what do you want to spend the day doing?
Yeah.
What do you want to do when you have that free 9 to 11 in the morning?
Yeah. Or when you're sitting at home at night, do you want to, watch, brain numbing, TV shows,
which
or learn something?
I get and understand that.
I like to mix the two.
Yeah, exactly.
I love comedians. I love, listen to what they have to say and make me just laugh. I don't have to think about what they're saying a lot,
That's why YouTube stand up.
Yeah.
A few YouTube channels got stand up comedians, Dry Bar Comedy. I would say, I'm about to rep them right now. Dry Bar Comedy. I want to open up for your comedians in Utah. We will not curse. I will harness my language. Dry Bar Comedy. Check their stuff out. They're funny. They don't curse. I literally, dude, I was watching them for like a year and a half before I realized that they literally don't curse at all. And it was like, that makes it so much funnier now. And I was
I'm pretty sure it's in Utah.
It is. It's in Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to come open up for your comedians.
Yeah.
Not Louis C.K., but anybody else.
For sure.
If we don't throw Louis C.K. into the podcast, it's not a real podcast. It's like, I'm pretty sure every podcast still mentions his name somewhere. They're like, cash grab. We got to throw it in there.
Right. Yeah, throw in Joe Rogan. For sure.
Hey, man, you keep doing this, doing it right. He could be a fan. Talk. That's what it takes. Talking real shit, having real conversations, man.
Well, I hope so. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. One of the things that I found out, I saw recently on my phone actually, where they were basically grabbing super old podcasts of his and like taking like one line out of it, or one context out of it. And then making this whole thing. Oh, huge. Like he's the worst thing because he said this one thing 10 years ago. And you're like,
oh no, yeah.
Okay, I don't know that changes my opinion. I've been watching him all these. I remember that podcast. I mean, good try. I mean,
there aren't very many people in the world that I have not met that I admire more than him. And you know what I mean? Honestly, I feel like people like hate on that shit. It's like whatever. Like I'll come out and say like him and Jordan Peterson, in my opinion.
Big fan of both. Yeah,
they're doing good things for people.
Yeah, I agree.
The real conversations.
Yep, I agree.
Anyway, to keep them from getting
and
one-sided.
You're always going to
us losing an audience.
Feelings.
Yeah,
well, you're always going to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, kindness is not important. What's important is honesty. I will always be honest with you. Yeah, kindness isn't real. Kindness is fake. And if you expect kindness to have a partner, and I just came to this realization now in this new relationship I'm in, and it was because of Jordan Peterson video.
Yeah,
kindness is not fucking real. I don't want someone to be kind to me. I don't want someone to lie to me and coddle me. I want someone to be honest with me.
Huh.
And that's what it comes down to. It's like, hey, if I'm fucking up, tell me. Because if I keep fucking up 4 weeks in a row, and then you're upset about it, and I have no clue that I fucked up once that whole time, you can't hold that against me that I did not know.
Or you
I was
can, but it's not going to work out real well.
You can, but then that's on you.
Yeah.
Because how are you, and it's like, kindness is not important.
No.
Honesty is important.
totally
Honesty and empathy.
Yeah.
You want to have
you can
good
tell me in a way that is going to hurt me the least.
Yes.
But don't not tell me.
Yeah. But
because you think it will hurt me.
Yes, 100%.
Man, I'm right there with you.
And like that's what it is. Like honesty and empathy. You don't need kindness. Kindness is bullshit.
Yeah.
Kindness is fake.
I agree.
And kindness is a facade. Honesty and empathy.
Yeah.
I want you to be honest with me.
I can always see.
And I need someone in a relationship, whatever friends it is, I need someone who can feel and understand someone else's shit.
Yeah.
Hey, your dog just got hit by a car. I'm not gonna be like, man, it was crazy. It just
Yeah.
blew up. Be like, no, harness that a little bit and be like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna feed one less dog tonight,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
those are the two. That's it. That's the ticket for me. You want to be a good person? I want you things matter. Fuck the
I
rest of that
agree
shit.
with that.
Honesty
Yeah.
and empathy. That's it. Be honest.
Yeah.
Be able to understand and
That's-
feel like be an empath and understand and be able to actually evaluate how other people like potentially feel and like understand that and harness that and like that's it. I don't need someone to be kind to me. I don't want someone to be kind to me. Fuck that.
Yeah, I think like for me, I kind of look at empathy as like consideration. You
I mean,
know,
it's what
like
it is,
I'm gonna consider you, in so many different ways. Like,
And your situation before
Yeah.
I do anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Before I act or speak,
right.
which I'm
Right.
bad about speaking because I just, as I did now, just like blurt over you. But you,
No,
yeah.
no, we're having a good conversation here, but
But I'm a blurter, dude. I'm a blurter.
well, see, that's
You guys
that's
get a-
why you have the friends around
Get
you
a
that
sign.
do.
Yeah.
Like
Get
me,
a sign for the
I
podcast that
understand
just says
blurters.
blurter, just so that way whenever someone starts talking, you're like blurter alert, shut them down.
That's
a red
honest.
light. Yeah.
No, but it's funny though, and sometimes funny trumps honesty at some point in time. I mean, like there's nothing's black and white. Anything that I say is meant to be taken as if I'm a person who doesn't know anything because I don't. So
Yeah, I
do with
don't.
this what you will.
I
Yeah.
definitely don't know.
I'm not a
everything
medical
about any
professional.
means.
I'm a professional, but not in skills that you can get that pays the bills. You know what I'm saying, baby?
I would have to say that the conversation you guys are having right now definitely has to have a female in it because I'm a mother and I grew up without any kindness. So I definitely attributed so many of the things, they just came naturally to me when I had my boys. To when you say coddle, it is natural for me to want to coddle them because I never got any of that. Like my pets that's where I got the love from. So when I had children, my boys know, like my 14-year-old literally lets me scratch his back at night and I'll drop everything and like I'm like,
But I think
I'll be back.
that's what a
So
mom's
there's a lot-
supposed to do, though. I think
Yeah.
to some
Yeah.
like not to like anti the coddling thing I was saying, but like
But that
I
also
do-
goes into my friendships.
Yeah.
If you ask any of my friends and my coworkers, am I not this way?
But what's your love language? Are you is physical touch a main part of your love language? Because I feel like it's like I like me and my like not the mother. It's like
Remember what we decided.
like but like I know that with my mom too is like I wanted to be there was a long period of my time or a period of time in my life where I wanted to be a masseuse because I was like I love physical touch. Like,
Yeah.
it's like through I assume because of a child like being whether it's through being coddled or like just having pet, it's like I love it. And it's like and like whether it be through someone else or whatever, not in a a messed up way, but it's just like it's like any form of that. It's just like
Yeah.
you can that's a feeling that you can't get any other way. And it's like I know that is a love language. So like I wonder like if that as a mother is like if that is part of it or
No,
I can't speak to it not being a mother,
Yeah.
I guess.
well, I didn't grow up with affection at all.
Okay.
So that was
Me either.
I didn't grow up with affection at all. So that's kind of like you kind of
Grasp towards it more because of that, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
I knew that I had been neglected.
Neglected,
Touch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I was starving for it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it in an unhealthy way because that comes easy. you know?
It's fabricated.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want any of that. And, first it was PT, which was very little, 15 minutes of massage or whatever, which was very clinical and just, rigid and, no clothing removed or anything. There's no energy taught in PT.
Nothing
And then,
passive.
was led from that. Obviously my life guided me, into massage that, where it's, all about energy and, really just how the person feels.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really, matters in massage. Yeah. And that kind of like the two differences.
But that led to lead you to be able to read people. Like it's like in a way, like to be able to read not energy.
Energy,
Not,
I
yeah,
think,
but
you
yeah,
know?
like yeah, it's like
I don't know. I've
very-
never felt like I could read a person necessarily, you know, but definitely I
but
can
you
read their
can
energy
discern, yeah, like just like what,
every
yeah, like
moment.
what, yeah, 100%, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I think, you know, like that's part of why I love music.
Yeah.
Is, you know, I feel like no matter what the song, I can feel what energy is being put off
Yeah.
by the song.
If it's done
or-
right, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
the only important thing I feel like to me is like,
Yeah.
I like all types of music. My girlfriend loves shitty country and trap, but
Yeah.
but we agree upon one thing, and that's sad songs.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a new generation of like everyone wants to write sad songs, and like that's fine. It's like, but like if I listen to like somebody's like, do you like this pop artist? I'm like, I don't know. It's like you play a song, it's like, yeah, I dig it. And
Right.
it's like I don't give a fuck who it is. It's like
Yeah.
it made me feel something.
Well, it's
and
funny you
that's
say
the
that.
only thing it's
Like,
supposed to
my
do.
daughter
like,
likes Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Even though she listens to all rap.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But when she heard it, you know, as a cover band live, I mean, you can't
It's
deny
struck a
it.
tone. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's great
Well, yeah,
music.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's no, that was when we went and saw Get the Lead Out, Led Zeppelin cover bands, and she loved them too. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, she listens to almost strictly rap, but because she's been introduced to those two cover bands, you know, from old groups that are obviously, you know, legends, you can't deny that. You can't deny good music.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
I don't think anyone
No, you
can.
can't.
You know,
I mean,
you just have
there's
to
a
be
reason that
exposed to it. You
I
know?
think there's a reason that. So when I went to Nashville and started recording those albums in there, so we have the album that's coming out. We're post New Year's now. I don't keep saying after the New Year. It feels weird to say
Right.
after the New Year now. It's like we're like after the New Year, but the album that's coming out in spring. And basically in the meantime of all of quarantine, we were recording this multiple albums in Nashville. We already had the album done. It's coming out now, but we were recording these albums in Nashville. And it was like, hey man, and I came to the decision. It was like the realization of I was like, I hate the way I sound on recordings. Like it's not real.
Yeah.
Like I can't like it's out
like
and
replicate it.
yeah. And it's like I
later.
tell people,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, like I can't give you a live energy without people there. Like I can't fabricate this shit in a studio when I'm like, just like some songs, like say you wrote a song about Next 2 years ago, and you come back into a studio 2 years later, shit, this person crosses the street, like you can't sing that same way.
Yeah.
It's not real. And that's why I say like the first time you record it, like that's it. And I think that so what we did in Nashville with some of these tapes, and we're calling them the Nashville tapes, or we bought an old, we didn't, sorry, let me rephrase that. My buddy Adam had an old tape machine and we did all analog, like
Oh, wow.
no digital, nothing. And it's like, hey, we put one mic in the room and we recorded it straight to tape.
Wow.
And that's what it is. One take
Yeah.
on each song.
Wow.
If I talk midway through it, I talk midway through it. And it was like, hey, let's buy real. Let's do it. That's it. And I think that like put the pressure on of like, this is a performance mode almost of it, but it's also like, some of them sound bad. Like they're like, there's a lot of them that don't, I'm not say sound bad. Like there's a lot of them that don't sound like, they're not high def recordings. They aren't studio recordings, but I don't give a shit about that. It's like, I want you to feel like, I want you to feel like you're in the living room listening to me and I'm playing on the couch next to you. And that's what it sounds like. It sounds real. It's like,
awesome.
I might mute the string, but it's real. It's live and it's real and it sounds real. And that is like what I feel like is lacking from today's music. And that's the reason that no one will ever top Stevie Wonder. It's the reason that Michael Jackson and Prince and those songs will always stand up forever and always sound that good is because they're real. It's raw.
Yeah.
You just can't fake that. You know what I mean? There's some things that you just can't, like digital audio manipulation is great. Like DJ Khaled, the stuff that the sounds that he makes are so sonically pleasing. I want to hate the guy, but I can't. So you know what I mean? So it's like it's so sonically pleasing. It's so good.
Yeah.
As a musician, it's so good. And if you say you hate it, you're lying. It's like it's so good.
Yeah.
It is perfect. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that like things aren't meant to be perfect. Perfect isn't real. That's not how it happens. It's meant to, and like, but you can get this organic feel with like some of these tracks we did in them. Yeah.
Well,
so,
something that we noticed a lot. So we watch a lot of like live music on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, you know, like if we're hanging out together, we watch
Live
a
session,
lot
hell
of that. Yeah.
Sure.
And one of the things that I hear come from our mouths a lot is like, how in the world did sometimes 30 people produce this sound that like you can't help but just, I mean, you can feel it vibrate
Yeah.
through your whole
But
body.
that's that,
you
that,
know,
that yeah, that's it. It's like-
and that is that's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
that will never change.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can have DJ Khaled with all these electronics and
but
fake
exactly.
stuff,
But you can't always, and it's like I'm not hating.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on that at all.
But I'm gonna say this. I've never felt the experience from a DJ that I did, from
Yeah.
a symphony behind Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I agree. Hey man, and I've
Not
told
gonna be the same.
and I've had arguments with, so you met Logan Stone.
And I like both types of
Yeah,
music.
yeah, like you
all
met-
kinds.
Yeah, so like our buddy Logan, who maybe the best painter, probably the best painter I've ever met in my entire life. He's a phenomenal artist.
Awesome. He is.
He's the one. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the work.
he's
He's
phenomenal.
incredible.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of not arguments, but intense conversations about this. And it's like my issue with EDM, and I use it as a blanket term to encompass all of it.
Yeah.
I use that term as the person who I would hate on using that term to encompass me in a blanket term. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm being hypocritical. It's fine. But like,
right.
the problem is it's the equivalent of clickbait. It's like, I'm going to give you the rise. I'm going to set you up. I'm going to make you drop. I'm going to make you fall. And it's like, there's not anything wrong with that, but it's like, if you're
it's
just
an equation.
It is an equation. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
I
that
don't
doesn't make
like
it
that.
wrong,
Yeah.
but it's like, and it's like, I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. Cause like, there's an equation to everything. There's an equation to every song you want to do. A, B, A, B. It's like verse, chorus, chorus, out. Like there's an equation to pop songs like that exists. But like, I also think I got so stuck in when I started writing songs that I thought were good. I got so stuck in specifically not writing that.
Yeah.
To where I end up with an album of 7-minute songs, and you're like, well, this is at this point in time pretentious. You know what I mean? Honestly,
Right, yeah.
at the least. So, yeah, there isn't a right or a wrong. It's just like I think everything. What's the word? It's like it all just. It's just intent. It's like, what's your intention with this? And I think that's the difference of what you can't sense that in some music and you can with some. Like when Joe Cocker sings, you know what his intention is. When Santana plays, you know what his intention is. You know what I mean?
And do you feel like they're true to themselves, and that's what you aspire to be? Because that's what I feel like it.
Well, yes, I would say like as a vague, like as a yes or no answer to that, then yes. But I would say like, I don't know that it's what they aspire to be. I think it's just that it's like, you can tell when someone's being honest, and you can tell when someone's not being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can tell
I
when
think
someone's out to make money and when
yeah,
coming from the heart.
and I think that's all it is. And I think that like as a kid, I just wanted to be, I don't know, like the people that hooked me as a kid hooked me because they were honest. And I think that was like, as a songwriter, as an adult, the thing that like made me want to write. And like later on as an adult, like with Jason Isbell, and like I didn't get into John Prine until late in life. Like I luckily grew up with a bluegrass family and like stuff, and like they shoveled this shit to me, and I just like rejected the spoon feeding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though I was like, I got to sing with Alex Krauss, Union Station, and Ronnie Bowman, like all these people, like David Millsaps when I was a kid, and I just like, damn it, fuck. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all. You know?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. The truth fights through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's evident. Like you can tell when someone's being honest with you, when someone's being genuine, and when they're not. And I think that's the only thing that stuck with me is like, I just want to be genuine, because I found artists with lyrics that are so prolific that I'm like, this is the most beautiful poetry ever. This is crazy. And then I found artists who said the plainest thing ever that I thought was the most moving thing that's ever like fucked my ears up ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just like, be honest. Tell exactly what you feel. And if you explain it the right way, then people will feel it. And if people feel it with you, then you did the right thing. And that's my only goal. It's like, I as a writer want to make listeners feel as I have felt as a listener of a fan of music. That's my goal. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, if I can make someone feel the way I felt as a listener when I was fanboying about some shit, then I did the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, the goal is to like make someone feel that way to the point that they want to read your liner notes the same way I did as a kid sitting on the floor, listening through this shit, reading along to lyrics. Like that's my goal. It's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's one kid or it's a fucking 100,000 kids. It's like
Yeah.
that's it. Like, because I know that like whoever that person was that made that impact on me, it was important. And if I make that impact on someone else, then it's important. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would say in my trade, my PT background drives me to give advice that sometimes isn't solicited.
Well,
But
you give good putting advice. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I think my putting advice is very similar to just
Breathe.
all of my advice. Yeah, breathe, relax,
Yeah.
focus.
I was saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel you on all of that. Sometimes, I do. I talk to people that don't
sometimes all
necessarily
it
want to hear
takes
it,
is
but
having someone.
sometimes they end up wanting to hear it later.
Yeah, but sometimes
Yeah.
all it takes is like, you know me well enough to know it's like, I could be a good putter, whatever. But all it takes is having someone that's looking at me like, hey man, take a deep breath,
Yeah.
and then I'm a good putter.
Right.
And it's like, well,
I learned that.
that's
about
not
me
your
for
job
sure.
to do that for people, but it's like
Right.
also it's like it's 100% a fact that it's like just sometimes having someone be just like, hey man, you got this,
Yeah.
makes a difference.
I
And it's
don't
like
feel
those
it's
little
my job either, but
no, and I'm not saying, I was trying to say like
think, like,
that is not your job.
I'm
Is to make
driven,
all of us a good
you know?
putter.
No,
You
but
know
I'm
what I mean?
driven to when I
Yeah.
see someone, like, I've been an athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to an age where I'm not that great anymore. But I want to pass on these things that I'm like,
I've
this is
learned
what
this,
made
yeah.
this made
Yeah,
me
yeah.
way better. And I'm seeing someone do what I struggled with for years,
Yeah.
When I see that, I always have to kind of push that on a little bit.
Yeah, but you do a good job with that. Yeah, it's tasteful. It's not like you're trying to like shove yourself.
I
there,
really
like,
try not to shove
hey
it down
buddy,
their
guess
throats.
what? Over
Yeah.
here, I learned something. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, you done it with me with putting leagues too. Like it's like,
Yeah.
hey man, I've watched you make a bunch of these putts. Like, quit thinking about it. It's like, take your breath.
Yeah, I know you're
1,
good.
2,
I've
3,
seen you.
put it in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then how many times did that work?
Yeah.
It does. It does. It's like, but I think that's with everything. Is like it's you don't ever need a reaffirmation or like the affirmation of anything, but it doesn't mean that doesn't help.
Right.
It's like sometimes like little boosts of confidence, or like all it takes just to like remind you that you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. Like we're doing
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it's all good. So
I feel like that is like this. It's got to be an energy thing because if you think of like an individual energy traveling through time and space, right? If it never encounters another energy, it eventually just burns out. Like there's nothing feeding it. You know what I mean? It has to run into something else, change its direction, something.
yeah, something has happened.
Something
Or
to
else
cause static electricity.
Well,
Something
it's like
to
we know
keep
that
feeding
it's infinite.
Yeah.
It can't just disappear. But it's like, but it something happens. But if
Yeah.
it does disappear, then it means it dissolves into one.
Yeah.
It's just like, into
So I feel like it's energies connecting, and
Yeah.
from there they grow into a bigger ball of energy.
Yeah.
And then, when you come back to that person later,
Yeah.
that energy is that much more fed
Yeah.
and that much stronger.
Yeah.
Or there's negativity that comes into that energy in that space
There's
and you let it die.
there's both. I mean, there's
Yeah.
positive and negatives to all energy. I mean, I completely agree. I think, that's why. Yeah, I don't know. The words. Yeah, that's why I try and view it the way I do. It's like I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Any of us that pretend that we do are lying to ourselves, and it's like, but I know that like I'm going to be good to you, not because I want you to be good to me, but because I know that that's the right thing to do. And if every person does that, if every person acts on that, then we can trust in humanity to do the right thing. But that's a big ask,
Yeah.
So it's like until then, we do the right thing. And when you come back and you blip back to the same spot, you're like, oh, I already did this once. It's like, well, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Well, I know last time we had you on, Dallas, you played some absolutely beautiful music, and I've listened. I know that I've listened to that podcast more than any I've listened to.
Yeah.
I even just like go just to the music, like
Thank-
multiple. I can't even tell you how many times at this point. I've even played it, in my spare time when just just to hear some music. It was great to hear,
thank
and many times. And I appreciate you coming back. And I've been looking forward to this since we talked about it a while ago. So I'm really looking forward to hearing something you got here.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we'll. What you feeling? Feeling some songwriter stuff? You feeling upbeat? What you got?
I
got a
love
vibe you
your
wanna go?
songwriter stuff.
right,
Everything
okay, we're
I've
gonna-
listened to that you wrote, it was my favorite stuff usually. So
All right. Well, then we'll. Can you hear that come through? We get come through. All right. Yeah. So this is the last song off this new album. It's called "Love Is Not the Enemy," and it goes like this. Awake with the birds as they start to sing. You don't ever hear a thing. In the whispering air, there's a melody saying love is not the end. Morning light on the wall seems to dance for me, till I'm exacerbating everything. If this is real, wanna feel a sting, hoping love is not the end. When I fall, will I make her home? When she's gone, will I make it on? It's all over, will the crowd still sing? How love is not the enemy. Close my eyes and I start to sleep. Pray that you'll be in dreams. When I wake, it's gonna feel so free. Knowing love is not the enemy. Love is not the enemy. No, love is not the enemy.
yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, it definitely isn't the enemy.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, all good for sure. Yeah, it was beautiful, man, as usual. Yeah, so what else you got for us?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go funky. In that case.
Love it.
I mean, would you rather you feeling this? Would you rather feel a songwriter mode, or you want to go a little funky and go back to that?
Anything you want.
right.
Whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, anything you want.
Yeah, this is a song called "Till Morning." It goes like this. The The autumn sun found her way in through my window. Whiskey found its way back in my cup. I remember hazily, coffee used to be the only thing I need to wake me up. Now the bedside maid lays towels across the table. She can see how far away from here I've been. Can't move every car, you end up frozen. Can't make a boy a man till he decides it on his own. All right. Can my guitar be any louder in my headphones?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
You might strum it so I can hear it.
Now I'm being a diva.
No, that's all right. I thought it was a
No.
little low too, actually. Let me.
Notice once we got started playing through, I was like, I can't really hear it, and then I was going to take my headphones off. I was like, I want to take this off because I want to where, like, I wonder if, like, if I get this set to where it should be, like, and I'm not moving around too much, could I just, if I take these headphones off, would that be an issue?
No.
I feel like I would
No,
play
not
better
at all.
with headphones off. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just get comfortable.
In that case, all right, yeah.
Yeah, just get comfortable.
This is a song called Till Morning. The autumn sun found a way in through my window. Whiskey found its way back in my cup. I remember hazily, coffee used to be the only thing I need to wake me up. Now the bedside maid lays towels across my table. She can see how far away from here I've been. Can't open every door, I keep on closing. You can't make a boy a man till he decides it on his own. Cried away. Spent the last 6 weeks confined to solitary. Said I'll make early release if I played along. Warnings all gone and I got scary. Even the tallest towers tumble with no foundations below. So I made it 3 more days before they caught me. Took me back again to right my wrongs. You can open every door, I keep on closing. You can't make a boy a man till he decides it on his own. Try to wait till morning. Try to face the day. crowd away. Someone will be okay.
Very nice. That was absolutely gorgeous again.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
don't
gonna,
remember any of the words of that song. Like,
yeah.
I could like. That's not the actual words of the song. There are other words to it.
I
That's,
love
yeah,
it.
like that's generally how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like-
sounded like it.
I haven't played this in like a year. I was like, okay, I have no clue how this song goes. Oh yeah.
What is
Well,
your
it didn't
favorite?
sound like you didn't.
What is your favorite song to play?
Of my own,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I guess that just depends on the time. But I'm gonna grab a thing and then
Yeah.
I will play one that way.
Okay. I feel like this would be a great time for us to announce some of your upcoming performances.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We got coming up January 15th, which is a Saturday. That's not this Saturday. That is next Saturday.
Yeah.
Downtown Hex. That's spelled HECK''S in Massillon, Ohio. He's also there on February 10th, which is a Thursday. On February 12th, we have Sixth Sense Brewery. That's a little hard to say. Sixth Sense
It
Brewery.
is quite. Yeah, it's quite a tongue twister. Yeah.
The number 6 with the TH, Sense Brewery in Jackson, Ohio.
Like the movie Brewery.
Yes, like the movie. That is that's near Ripley, I believe, south of Ripley. All right. Yeah, we have February 17th through the 19th at Eagle Head in Sun Valley, Ohio, Idaho. That was horrible. Let me start that over. February 17th through 19th, Eagle Head, Sun Valley, Idaho. March 26th, back at Downtown Hex in Massillon, Ohio. If you're looking for Dallas, I hope you are, because you should be. You can go to his website at dallascraftmusic.com. He's also on Instagram and Facebook, Dallas Craft Music. This is a shot of his Facebook page here that you're looking at. Here's Dallas Craft's website, or at least a view of it, dallascraftmusic.com. And something that has always fascinated me, something I've seen you perform, as well as a number of other musicians, is and I'm trying to think of what it's like, basically using a MIDI controller. Is that what they call it?
Loop pedal.
A loop pedal. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have one at my feet.
Awesome. Well,
So
I've heard you do it, and I would love to hear some
all
more
right.
of it.
Well, the song I plan on playing next does
Yeah.
not involve that.
Okay.
So
You play
I'm
whatever
gonna
you
play
want.
that one next, but then
All
after that, we will 100% funkify this session.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Love
But
it.
this next song is called. It's not actually off the new album. So we had finished the new album, kind of got prolonged with COVID, and I just kind of refused to release it until I could play it live. So like that's the realistic holdup of like why everything is held. I was like, I waited this long to release a full length. I'm not going to release it unless I can actually play it live. So
Yeah.
everyone's like, you release it digital and then wait, and it's like, no, fuck that. It's like I'm going to release it when I can do it. I'm 30. I waited this long. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. So that's why that's being held up. But in the time being of all that, we've recorded like 2 whole other albums in Nashville.
Awesome.
Live to tape. We were talking about some of that off tape. We were talking about some of these things that we did on tape in Nashville, I guess. And yeah, this is one of those songs. And talking about like songs are like, realized like later on I was like, oh cool, like I think I actually wrote a good song. Like this is like one of those ones where like I looked back, I wrote a song a day as like a goal of mine, just like I think to do every day as a prompt. Seldom do they turn out well. This is one of the ones that it was like this is a keeper. Write it in 6 minutes and realize you're like, oh shit, you might have actually written something that's good. So yeah, it goes like this. I had a dream. Church bells were ringing. The way that the sun hit your dress, I can never forget. You looked at me, smile just gleaming. And I watched as you walked down the aisle with him instead. There will be blood. 'Cause there have been lies. I know the hen with the devilish grin makes the roosters all bite. But you pulled down the blinds and you wiped all the dirt from my eyes. You restoked the fire and it burned through the haze in my mind. This restless leg wanderer is grown even fonder, hanging on every line. Who said forever would ever be near enough time? Oh, I guess that they're right. Sun ever shines this side of the mountain. I know all the days, I'll count them all. The line that divides, whether speaking or shouting, I'm sure that I've crossed it too many times to recall. There will be floods, there have been lies. I hope the ones with the hold on the gold pen, the storybooks right, tell them both of our side. You pulled down the blinds and you wiped all the dirt from my eyes. You restoked the fire and it burned through the haze in my mind. Restless
restless leg wanderer, won't even thunder, hanging on every line. Who said forever would never be near enough time? Oh, I think that they're right. There will be blood, 'cause there have been lies. I know the hand with the devilish grin makes the roosters all bite. There will be floods, there have been fires. Hope the ones with the hold on the gold in the storybooks right. We're telling both of our sides. How you pulled down the blinds and you wiped all the dirt from my eyes. We stoked the fire and it burned through the haze of my mind. This restless leg wanderer just won't even thunder, hanging on every line. Oh, sit forever, never be near enough time. Oh, I think they're right. Think they're right. I had a dream. Church bells were ringing. The way that the sun hit your dress, I can never forget.
That was impressive.
Kind of zoned out there for a minute.
Yeah, me too.
I realized when I opened my eyes, I was like, your eyes have been closed for a very long time.
No, it's good.
Oh yeah, I was getting into that one. Yeah, I can feel that for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, let's
Yeah, keep it going.
yeah, this loop pedal, yeah, it's fun.
I
So
bet.
this is how like, so this is the thing that's been able to keep me like doing my thing, I guess, solo for a while.
Yeah,
So I can kind of like, you know, bar venues, you do covers. It's like I can do whatever with this, but it's like I wrote for the first album was not, but I think essentially if my albums prior to this are demos, volume 1 through 5, volume 2, 3, 4 at least are all looped essentially songs. Like that's how I wrote them, was like on loop pedal. So
yeah.
yeah, this is a song called Lady, and it goes like this. Coming down outside and meet you, yeah.
wanna know if I can stay for long. Hang it up on the side of the roadside, baby. Pretty woman, help me write the song. She said, lady of the night, lady of the night. I said, lady of the night, won't you tuck me in? I said, lady of the night, lady of the night, night. I said, lady of the night, won't you tell me all my story? And won't you tell me all my story? You know one thing about making love, it's all you do, all you do. You don't know a thing about it. So you found that a thing. Yes, you don't know a thing about it. You done burned it down, started to do it down, you other night, I said, other night, won't you tuck me in? Other night, lady of the night, lady of the night, won't you show me all this story, yeah.
Yeah, essentially that's how loop pedal works, you know what I mean? Just like that. Sometimes you can like do this too. You want to like. Fuck with everyone's head for a minute. Like, well, hang on a second. Like, what's going on? It's like, why is it doing that? It's like, I don't really know what's happening. I don't know, but like, I'm pretty sure it'll stop if you just believe in me. See how that works? No, dude. So this thing's crazy. Like, I was using the same loop pedal for the last 10 years, and I upgraded this, and it's like you can have a bike or you can have a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just like, I was like, how much could have changed in 10 years? It's like a fucking lot, dude.
Oh, in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, like sound.
I've only been podcasting for 1 year, and the
Yeah.
equipment has like exponentially changed. It's
Well, like,
crazy in 1
sound
year.
quality wise with these, like the difference is like the old ones all export in MP3. Like the basic way to describe it is like the old ones export in MP3, these export in WAV.
Yeah.
So it's like you're talking about like 10 times the data
Yeah.
that is transfers. Like sound quality is so much better. Like
Yeah.
transfer that to that is like the volume of the loop track to that was the same and it sounds the same.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done that out of the old ones. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I
Or it would
believe
have taken
that.
a lot
Yeah.
of manipulating live to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I felt like my old soundboard that I bought a year ago, I could put, input a lot more stuff into, like more
You
types
had
of
the
input,
the old road,
but it
Rodecaster,
didn't.
would you have-
Well, it was the same brand, Zoom,
okay, it was
live cast
Zoom
or something.
Live
Yeah.
Caster, Not the road.
No. Yeah, and
Everyone
you
talks
could put
about
all
road
kinds of
caster,
stuff
but
in
same
it, but
thing, yeah.
you couldn't level them out very easily at all, and it took tons of trial and error because it might sound good through the headphones and the output of the board, but once it was into the computer and out, YouTube, it was a whole different thing. Yeah.
Well, I think I will never say that one product, like I will never say that hardware is bad. I will always say that they have a unique
user.
place.
It's
Well, not-
always
yeah,
well,
no,
it's
just-
it was definitely user error
but
for
you
me.
know what I mean? It's like it's just like I've seen people do crazy shit with the most basic hardware.
Oh yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
seen people do basic shit with the most crazy hardware. So it's like,
I bet.
and so it's like, yeah, it's just like I don't know, there's never like when someone's like, what should I get? And it's like that's not a question you can ask somebody. It's like, what
No.
do you actually want to do? They're like, I don't know. It's like then you're you're literally going to spend money and figure it out. It's like
Mhm.
that's the only fucking real option. It's like
Yeah,
because like
I would say
until
that's
you
with
figure out-
everybody pretty
yeah,
much. Yeah.
And like I always say people are like, man, can you help me go to the studio out? And it's like, yeah, like you know what you want? Like no, it's like then I can't help you.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a basic idea of something, like,
Right.
I can sonically build your studio like with the room size and everything exactly how we need it, and I will make it as pimped out as it needs to be. Like I love
Yeah.
like I wish if there was enough if I could make a full-time living off of doing like studio design and
Yeah.
like that's why I love like archaeology and like art architecture of like studio design, like acoustasonics and like the wavelengths of things and like why things move in certain rooms where they do. But like
Oh yeah.
I would love to build new theaters. But
Yeah.
no one's building new theaters. The old theaters are
Not
there.
this
they're
second.
good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
for
like,
sure.
it's like
Yeah.
as a kid I realized I was like, what do you want to just it was like I want to build theaters. And I'm
Well, let me tell you
like,
this.
you're never gonna do that.
They're building
because-
new
so
churches
I-
every
yeah,
day.
Okay. I could if I want to do that too, I have that option. If
Yeah. Yeah.
I turned down that option.
Yeah.
That was a six that was a big the big
Yeah.
most money I ever turned down my entire life.
Yeah, I bet.
But to write CCM songs. And it's like I'm not anti any of that. But when you listen to the radio and you're flipping through stations, you know when you turn on just some shitty Christian song.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not a religious person at all. Fucking love God, but and it's like
Yeah.
love mirrors like God, like you know, whatever it is, it's, I believe in it and I'm about it. It's like, but like I don't want to write that stuff. And like those like fake, like they seem very like those fake songs, you know what I mean?
No, I do.
But like, so, and my brother's pastor, so I was like, dude, he said you write, he said you can be the person who writes songs that are better. I was like, but then they won't play on the radio. Those are songs that don't play on Christian radio. They play on the road radio. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a specific thing that I have to do. I was like, but that's my fault by playing forward. I was like, if I haven't done all the things I think I want to do, I'm just going to go back and write songs. Just like I got to do like I just said back in vocals like Amy Grant's Christmas album.
Yeah.
Like I got to do back vocals with Tyler Childers. And, like, it's gonna be,
That's
I was
awesome.
like, it's like the doors are open, but it's
Yeah.
also it's like I could open the floodgates, but like will I feel validated about what I'm doing with my work? Because I think that's what it really comes down to. It's like it doesn't matter how much money I make or how much other things. It's like, I'm content with where I am now. So like, will I feel validated with the work I'm doing if I go down that route? It's like I might be able to buy like a house, and then might be able to do this, and like buy my parents a house, so like do the other things. And it's like, but will I actually feel good about myself if I do it? It's like no.
Yeah.
So then I'm just not going to do that. Like
I feel that I have to be validated as well. And
it feels selfish to think that.
Yeah.
It's like it feels selfish to think it's just like I need this, but it's
I
like
don't,
it's like,
yeah, I don't
need
feel
this.
selfish about that. I think validation is like every human's need. You know,
Yeah, some
to feel needed is at least most of us. I think at least 99% of us. And to feel validated for what we believe in. That's part of why all of us are on, you know, social media. A lot of us are on social media.
only reason why
To feel like, you know, the rest of your tribe, which I hope my whole you know, the whole world is my tribe. You know, and so yeah, I definitely feel all that. All right, Dallas. I really appreciate you showing up.
Thank you for having me, man. It was nice to be back.
Yeah, it has been a really good conversation. I've enjoyed the music like I can't even tell you,
Yeah, thank you, man.
and I always get lost in it. And I'm hoping I can get you back a whole bunch more times.
Dude, yeah.
Make you a regular
anytime.
guest for sure. And I really hope that you know, this helps you get out there as well, and
Yeah.
you know, make things grow for you a little bit. And
We'll slowly get out into this, get back into the Marietta scene. You know, we're like
yeah,
venturing out again post COVID. It took a while to like
yeah.
venture back out into things, but yeah, we're getting back out there. So yeah,
Good.
hopefully back in Marietta.
Well, Marietta needs a
scene
little bit of diversity. So
We'll be
We
coming around
welcome
soon.
you.
Come summer, yeah. Jumping
Yeah.
here ready.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming again, and I hope you have a safe trip back to Athens. I'm assuming you're going home
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
Awesome.
Home.
Have a safe trip. I love you, man.
I love you too, man. It's good to see you.
All right.
Thank you for
I'll
having me.
talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.